Hi everyone. Today I am here with Kevin Raposo from KnowTechie. Hi Kevin. Thank you one more time. I've already told him like a million times thank you, but thank you for being here with us today. How are you?
I'm great, Laura. Thanks you for asking. I appreciate you inviting me here. I look forward to answering any questions you have.
Yeah, well, to be honest, we just want to get to meet you a little bit, to know who's Kevin, about your publication, No Techie, and just, a little bit about the future, the plans, the goals, and a little bit of your experience so that you can share your wisdom with us, if
Of
that
course,
sounds good.
happy to contribute.
Perfect, thank you. So, would you mind starting just by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Sure.
Who's
Uh,
Kevin?
yeah, so I was born and raised in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Like a city outside of Boston. You know, I play music. I'm a metal drummer. I've been playing music since I was like, 4 years old. Still play drums like to this day. Playing like heavy metal bands and things like that. And still very active in that world when I'm not, writing or managing the site. Um, but yeah, pretty much just doing that all my life. My passion was growing up was to be a rock star.
I
Unfortunately,
love it.
yeah, unfortunately, rock stars don't make that much money, and they can't really live off, music unless you're playing for like one of these like super bands and big bands. But so I found out that at a young age, and pivoted to other things like like SEO and things like that. So that's how I got my
Do you
start.
feel do you feel like a rock star now? A rock star of the publishing industry?
Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. But my wife likes to think that I'm always a rock star in her eyes, so yeah, it helps.
We also think that you are. No techie is pretty good.
Appreciate that. Yeah, we try. There's a lot of boring like tech news websites out there, and we try to like cut the mold, go against the grain a little bit. But yeah, we try our hardest.
I bet you do. So, did you study anything related to publishing or writing at all?
No, not at all. No, definitely not. It was something that really just fell into my lap. I was working at a startup called Simply Safe, and they were
Mhm.
like like an alarm system company. And one day they needed someone to learn SEO. And, at first I thought it was like an SEO. And so I had no idea what it was, but they were like, hey, you're in charge of this now. And, you have to learn it. I was like, oh boy. And then one day
How
they were,
long ago
this was
was that?
probably, this was probably like around like 15 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. And then they were like, so we need someone to like talk to journalists. And I was like, I guess I can try that. And I got my start in public relations that way. And I figured that like the best way to learn was to write and, be one of them, try to do what they do. And I essentially wrote and found that I had a really good talent for writing and creating content. And that's how I became running like a tech news website. So I read a lot like back then. And I like the one thing I noticed is that was publications were writing about really boring still topics, and I was really into gadgets, like new startups, things like that. So I figured, why not have like a voice in that field that basically speaks the way I do, um, thinks the way I do, and I figured that other people would like that, and so far, they do.
I love that. So you kind of found a gap that was missing in that moment of time, and then you just decided to found No Techie. Is that right?
That's correct, yeah.
That's amazing. So for how long have you had No Techie now? How old is No Techie?
It just turned 10 last month. So it's been around
Okay,
for 10 years now. It's a long time.
interesting. Yeah, long time, a good trajectory.
Yeah.
Okay. Could you, I don't know, like please tell us what has been like the most difficult or challenging thing that you've encountered with No Techie to be where you are today?
If I had a choice back then to pick another, like a different niche, I totally would have, because in tech, there's just so much going on. There's so many things that are happening, and there's new developments every day. And just being able to be on top of that, it's really difficult, especially if you don't have the manpower to cover all those topics. It can get
Right.
exhausting. And then like on top of all that, you have to like update all of your articles. You have to keep everything current. And that's a lot. And this is while everything's going on. So like while you're still updating, articles about the iPhone 14, the iPhone 15 comes out, then you have the iPhone 16. It's a constant revolving door of new things to look out for. And that's probably the biggest difficulty is, content creation and, aligning your content goals to be, the best that it can when you have so much like in the pipeline.
Hmm. I get that. I mean, I've never thought of that, but I guess you're right. And right now in technology, well, the last decade in technology has been wild.
It's been crazy. And in the past year, I would say I've had never seen anything like it. Like in terms of progression, where like with AI and everything like that, it
Hmm.
took a long while, like for like the iPhone 10 to be the iPhone 15, where in AI it moved from like like an iPhone 3 to an iPhone 16 in like 1 year.
Yeah,
And being able to cover all those developments, and it's the first time that I've like been scared of technology. Like, thinking to
definitely.
myself, like, what's going to happen in 5 years from now? It's like
Hmm.
I can't even think about it. It blows my mind.
Definitely. It is scary. I mean, we are like all in this point when we just want to think that everything is going to turn out right for all of us, but we don't know, right?
Don't know. We don't know. It's like at the end of this call, I have like an AI that basically summarizes this whole call. It like sends me an email of like everything that we spoke about. I couldn't even think about that like 2 years ago. And it's
Exactly.
like by default it turns it on. I think even Zoom does it now.
Exactly, right?
Yeah,
Well,
so it's
fingers crossed that, we won't have like robots killing us.
yeah, I know. A robot.
I know, right? Well, now that we're talking about, technology, I wanted to ask you, like, if you could, like, magically reveal your tech stack, how
Sure.
will you make it look?
So we use WordPress as our publishing software. I do all my hosting on Kinsta. They're WordPress managed hosting company. They're really fast. I've been with them for like I think like 7 years now. And they are rock stars when it comes to keeping my site up and going. I used to be with SiteGround previously. We had some hiccups. I didn't know too much back then about like hosting and how you needed more resources when you got like a surge of traffic. So to their credit, they were great while I had them, but I switched over to Kinsta. They're rock stars. In terms of other things, we use a bunch of tools. Zap. So I'm really into like no code and like automations. So like,
Yeah.
things like Zapier. I like this new one called Bardine. It's a really cool automation platform.
Mm,
And then it's also there's one more I have here that I always forget the name. It's a Task Magic.
okay.
It's basically a no code, and it basically what it does is like I have all these systems in place, like where, for example, if a post publishes on KnowTechie, it gets shared automatically to all my social things, like without even lifting a finger. It does all that. It reads my emails to me. I have it answering emails sometimes, scheduling appointments for me, and this is like all autonomously. I have to set it up before, but it basically does all that. In terms of other things, I use Google Workspace for Google Docs, Google Sheets, Gmail, all that fun stuff. Yeah, is there anything in particular that you were wondering about?
No, 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 no. We just
Yeah.
wanted to know, like, if you had like all of the resources in the world, how would you made look
Yeah.
your tech stack, like.
So the one thing I've learned is if you make it, I'll try it and you know, I'll play around with it. And recently I got like introduced to like AppSumo and like lifetime deals. And I think it was like 2 years ago I got like into it. It's basically like a marketplace for like SaaS products.
Hmm.
So and they offer lifetime deals. So instead of paying month to month, you just buy it right up front. And you buy them at a really early stage in their development
Hmm.
where you basically get it for really cheap. Like it's a big upfront payment at the beginning, but you basically make out like a bandit. So I've discovered that I'm addicted to buying these. And
Okay,
yeah, and
interesting.
it's very sad. But it's like my money can go to the worst places, but it's it's really cool products. It's cool new things that I can try out, and sometimes like it really benefits me. And yeah, it, yeah, it's really good.
I've never heard about that. I'm going to do my research now.
I'll share a link
Thank
with
you.
you after.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing all of these, like, tips. It may be useful for, other publishers that may know anything about technology. You at least are in like
Absolutely.
the industry of technology, so you kind of know a little bit more.
Absolutely. I'd be
Oh,
happy to.
thank you. Now I kind of like wanted to ask you about your monetization strategy and if this has been changing over, the decade, or how are you like monetizing your content right now?
Yeah. So like in the first 3 years of running KnowTechie, we didn't make any money. I didn't know how to make money. I didn't really go into that with the idea of making money. It was just more of like, a platform for me to practice my writing, things like that. But then, you know, the bills came. Hosting is expensive, things like that. So I had to figure out, monetization. So the first thing I did was basically go get like a Google AdSense account and
Yeah.
basically run display ads on the website. And then I realized, I wasn't really making much money off that. So you know, I basically discovered affiliate marketing. And working in tech, there's a lot of new products coming out. And
Of
if
course.
if you're writing about them, you can drop a link in there, and if someone buys it, you know,
Yeah.
you get a
You
cut.
get that
So
commission.
yeah, so I jumped on that really good, and I really liked it. So I did a lot of that in the beginning, and then eventually we moved into like sponsored posts and building brand partnerships with companies and things like that. And then we also I went back to display advertising where we had enough traffic coming in where it actually sustained the website for a while. So that's a lot of our monetization strategy is that. But like affiliate marketing is still huge for us. And building brand partnerships is also big for us.
Okay. I think that that's something good that, the tech industry have. At the end of the day, not every publisher can do like affiliate marketing or stuff like that.
Yeah. But
Well,
it's possible. I mean, like I think a lot of companies can do it. It's just, finding that balance where you're not, you know, selling out your audience for, a quick buck, things like that.
hmm,
Like the products are out there for, I think, pretty much every niche. And if you're like working in like business to business, like the opportunities are even larger. And you can make it because it's more targeted, like where we have to compete with like these bigger companies, like, New
hmm,
York Times, things like that. So it's harder for us to make affiliate sales versus like a business to business because it's more targeted
okay.
business. But yeah, I mean, it pays the bills. It could be better, but we're slowly making our way back and trying to get back to normal.
Right. Okay. And what are like the current plans for No Techie? How is it going to keep growing? Do you have any plans?
Yeah, it's one thing I always think about. The goal is to always grow, right? And make money for the site to pay my writers and things like that. You know, I'm always getting approached to sell a site. I have buyers always asking me if I want to sell a site. And I always tell them the same thing. Um, I didn't jump into this for money, and I basically wanted to do this for, a passion. And I
Hmm.
have no problem dying with KnowTechie and not selling it. So the goal is to always have something for me to do with the site, always have a passion for tech, write about it. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Amazing. I mean, passion will get you growing at the end of the day. So,
Yeah.
okay. Thank you, Kevin. My last question to you will have to be a little bit about our relationship, your relationship with music. You've been syndicating your content with us since 2019. We've
Right.
had some like milestones in these partnerships. And I also, wanted to ask you if you think that having partnered with us was a good decision. Why did you decide to partner with us?
It was definitely a great decision. Basically working with Newstex, it opened up our audience to a bigger audience. I remember one month we got so much traffic from you guys. Like it almost broke my server. It was really cool because I think it got syndicated on like Fast Company or something like that. It was like
Yeah.
bigger sites, and it really opened us up. And because of that, it gave us legitimacy at a time when we really needed it. And you know it basically monetized our site. It gave us money, but the more valuable thing for us was that you know, it brought us to a whole new audience that like we would have never got in front of. So I think that was really valuable, and I still value that today. Like there are some months like where it doesn't move the needle, but like on the months that it does, it does a really good job.
Well, I'm glad that you are happy. I hope that we can keep growing in this collaboration. And we are excited to see what is going to bring the future for No Techie as well. And thank you one more time for, taking time from your busy schedule to do this interview with us.
I appreciate you inviting me.
Um, yeah. Thank you. Well, no, I will let you go. I will let you go. Otherwise, I'll like keep asking questions in here. Thank
I
you,
have to get back to.
Kevin.
See ya.
Exactly. Bye bye.